What's going on, y'all? Another week, another geek. We are back at it again with another episode of the Why I'm Geek show. But today it's a special episode, and that's because it's the Geeked Awards. Let's go, Geeked Awards 2. It's the second go around, second iteration of the Geeked Awards. Something we do at the end of the year and how we start off 2024. So this is going to be our favorite things we've seen this year, including like actors and actresses. Y'all see once we get into the nominations if you haven't seen already before. But before we get into that, Chris, how you feeling today, Brody?
Pretty hyped for this, man. You know, all year, bringing it up right here. Our best series, our best movies, our favorite movies, animated actors, actresses. You know, it's kind of like the thing that we look forward to every year. And, you know, we're just happy to bring it to everybody and what we think was the best thing we've seen all year. But I'm doing good. How you doing, G?
I'm excited, bro. I'm excited. This is like my favorite part of the year too, just because I get to look back at all the stuff we done seen. And you know, in this series, like we talk about movies we didn't get a chance to talk about, you know, on the podcast, and finally catching up on things we haven't seen. So fair warning, we are only human, so we ain't seen literally everything, but we've seen a lot. We've seen a
We're geeked
lot.
about all the stuff we're talking about.
Exactly. So without further ado, man, let's start and get into this thing. This is episode 122, by the way. 120. So it's perfect timing. But let's get right into these nominations for the most geeked picture. So boom, let's get right into it, man. These are our favorite things we have seen this year. And this list was not easy to come up with. It seemed easy like when we first thought about it, but it's a lot of stuff that came out this year that was like, oh, like close. You know what I'm saying? So we got Barbie, we got Creed 3, and we got Oppenheimer. You know, Barbie and Oppenheimer, they had a moment. Creed 3 started the year off right. Spider-Man, come on, bro. That's a cakewalk. And then Super Mario, bro, something super nostalgic that, you know, we just never thought we'd get at this point. But Chris, how you feeling a little bit about these nominations, bro?
Yo, Spider-Man, of course, is kind of like the follow-up. Amazing. It's just amazing. Miles couldn't do no wrong. Super Mario Bros. Was finally a movie that I was just so happy to see. They did it right, and it really feels like we're kicking off something special. Uh, Creed 3, man, I don't know if this is the last one, but it feels like the last one. And Bobby and Oppenheimer, like you said, they had a moment. Ah, those are two of the best films, definitely for sure, in 2023. So this was hard, but all five of these definitely deserve the spot.
For sure. But without further ado, let's get into the winner. The winner for the most geek picture is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Oh my gosh, bro. We had to do it. It feels a little bit like a cop-out, but when I think really about what like was my favorite thing I saw this year and what just really had me shook and in awe, it was that moment of silence in Spider-Verse. Like I've watched that joint multiple times and I just love it. I love it, bro. But
Yeah, I absolutely love this movie, and for sure a follow-up to one of the best movies I saw 2 years ago. I mean, this is a great follow-up. I want to say Oppenheimer is close,
mhm.
but I think you nailed it on the hammer. When I watched this in theaters and they had that mic drop moment, I
Yeah.
was just like, "Oh my gosh, I need the next one." They just know how to make movies, bro. They
Yeah.
An animated movie to make me feel this way, like they just know how to do it right.
Yeah. And it was just like the feeling too while watching it because you know it's a sequel, but at the same time, like you could feel like while you was watching, like, yo, is this joint really about to end? Like I feel like there's still so much like left, you know?
So much to
And
do, so much to happen, and so much things like the spot.
Yeah.
Miles Morales in another universe. That's the Prowler.
Hmm.
It's just so interesting, so well crafted. I just love it, and it definitely got me most geeked.
That's really like what separates things sometimes is like how it really makes you feel in that moment, and then like if that feeling kind of stays with you, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Um, but that was our most geek picture. Let us know in the comments what you guys thought and what's your favorite thing that you've seen this year. But Chris, you want to get us into the series, bro?
Yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the most geek series. All right, for our most geek series, we got Ginny and Georgia, one of my favorite series that dropped on Netflix. We got Loki season 2, elite tier series on Disney. They did my boy right. We got the quarterback, a sneaky favorite. Uh, NFL better than Hard Knocks. We got my homeboy in there. Snowfall. The end, G.
The end of an
And
era.
an era, and then back to back Succession, another end of an era. Oh, we got a lot of good series up, but the winner for most geek series goes to Succession. Without a doubt, this is the best series ending to a great series. I mean, bro, I sat there before the series finale ended and I was like,
Hmm.
I cannot wait to see what they do because I
Yeah.
had no idea. I
Yeah.
had no idea. And for something to end like this, not only did we talk about in the last one, this one had a moment
Hmm.
where I felt like, bro, who's right? Who's wrong? Did they deserve it? Did they not deserve it? Or did they get done dirty? Like
Yeah,
when it comes to geek series, like this is how you end a series. Like
for sure.
it just so much talking points. How'd you feel about Succession's ending, bro?
This one was heavy, bro. This was a heavy ending because, like, not only do you have like a major death, but also like the fallout of it. You know, like this whole series started off with the same scenario, right? Where it's like the families coming together, then you got all the business execs, and like it's just so good, bro. It's so good. The family dynamic is crazy in this genre. And when I really think about when this came out, I feel like everybody was watching it and everybody was talking about it. And for it's like shows like Snowfall, I feel like that's more of a niche type of show and series. So for me, it was like these two were like pretty close. Like they were tied as far as like what I thought the
Go
best
ahead.
was, just because, bro, I literally forgot Snowfall came out, not because it was not that good, but because of the effect that it had on me. Where I was like, yo, I don't want to remember how that joint ended because it was so traumatic, bro. But then Succession like ended, and it ended in such like an artistic way that just had me like, yo, this joint is freaking fire, bro. And you got to see like after every week, people switching sides, and people are like saying like, yo, who's going to get it in the end? Like, who's going to actually win this thing? Like, bro, there were so many theories and so many questions that like really, really had me super hyped. Um, like for
HBO
this
got
show.
it,
For
bro.
Yeah, they do, they do. But I don't know. Netflix had a year too. Netflix
They
definitely
did.
had a year. So but Succession, well deserved, well deserved. And now that we got the series and the movies out the way, we got to start talking about some of our favorite actors and actresses, bro. So you want to get straight into it, man?
Yeah, let's go ahead and go to most geeked actor. All right, so for our most geeked actor, we got Damson Idris.
Yes, sir. That's the man right there.
We got Keanu Reeves, Killian Murphy,
Yeah.
Tom Hiddleston a little bit later, and then Pedro Pascal. I
It's
ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. it was tough for us to come up with the most geeked actors.
Yeah, because all of these
It
joints,
was
all these joints really had like moments that we were both like very strong on in our opinions.
Yeah, because we got a mix of like movies and TV shows, and it's sometimes hard to feel like where is that moment? Exactly how we felt like with like the Most Geek series, Most Geek picture, where we
Yeah.
felt really strongly. But me and you both had different phases where we were like, "Yo, this actor went ridiculous on this part."
hmm Yeah, and then sometimes it wasn't even necessarily the actor; it was the movie that really
Hmm.
set them apart. Like I feel like, all these people are good actors, right? Like that's if they're in this top five, like it's a done deal. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it really came down to like the moment and how the actor made you feel and like just I don't know, bro. It was good. It was good. So
But
let's get it.
definitely
Oh
for the Most Geek actor,
yeah.
as hard as it was for us, we did come to a conclusion, and the winner for Most Geek Actor is Cillian Murphy. And I
Ooh,
fought hard for this one. I
he
fought
did.
hard for this one because I really believe in Oppenheimer. This man,
hmm
he did it all. He did it. He really brought to light Oppenheimer. He made that movie go crazy. And it's just so weird because for like a physicist,
hmm
biopic, whatever you want to call it, biography, what
Yeah.
in this movie, it just felt so interesting. And for an actor to breathe life into a character like that, especially for me, I wouldn't really be like that enthralled with a character like that.
hmm
I thought it was perfect. I think this movie you can definitely come back to, and just his performance on it. I definitely think this year he deserves most geeked actor.
Yeah. It definitely took some convincing, especially on my part, because I just feel like Damson in Snowfall has such a crazy transformation. Like this whole show is about him, right? And it goes to like from beginning to end, you get to see this character change, you
Mhm.
know, and it was just like, bro, that was so crazy. But with the whole Oppenheimer moment and like you were saying, like the historic factor and what it takes to like when I really thought about like what it takes to do a good biopic, because it's you're
Yeah.
you're basically telling history. That takes skill and it takes, like you said, a lot to breathe life into characters like that. So I gotta put respect on Cillian Murphy's name. And the fun fact about Cillian Murphy, if you didn't know, it's spelled with the C. So that's that's what I got on that. But man, crazy list. That was a tough category for sure, man. But next up, we gotta get to the ladies, man, to the ladies with the most geeked actresses. So this list was like even harder, bro, because of the state of the film industry, bro. Like, there's not a lot of women-led movies and shows that get that same energy, and um, this is the list we came up with. And first, we're gonna start off with Brienne Howie from Jenny and Georgia. That Jenny and Georgia is one of my favorite shows. Like Chris was saying, bro, like
I love that
I didn't
show.
even
I
know
love
Chris
that
was
show.
watching this jump at first, and I had just like randomly thought about it. I was like, yo, Jenny and Georgia, bro, like Jenny and Georgia went crazy, and he happened to watch it too, and it was just like that joint just had me all over the place, bro, emotionally, like watching it because it was just like a crazy family dynamic, but. Yeah, got to put respect on Jenny and Georgia. Next, we got Margot Robbie in Barbie. I have so many things to say about Barbie, bro, but I will save
Barbie is
it.
nice.
I'll save
Barbie
it.
movie is nice.
It's so good, bro, and everybody should watch that joint because it's so different than what you expect, bro. Like I don't know, I don't even know what I was expecting going into it. But next up, we also got Quinta Brunson, Abbott Elementary, one of my favorite new sitcoms that's coming out. And her storylines finally started to get going outside of just being a teacher. So like the different love dynamics, and we getting to see more of her character starting to blossom, you know. And then also being the creator of the show, like that's a lot. That's a lot, you know. So I gotta put respect on her name. And then we also got Sarah Snook from Succession, who was one of my favorite characters from Jump. From Jump. Because I just like the energy she gave, bro. Like she always was ready to snap back at her brothers and was not ready, like not willing to back down from anybody except Pops. So lastly but not least, we got Storm Reed from Missing. One of my favorite things I saw in the beginning of the year. Something that's like was like low key slept on, I think. You know? I think
Yeah,
it was
you love
definitely
that
slept
movie.
on. But her performance in that joint was really good. And yeah, man, what did you think of these nominations, bro?
Yeah, it was definitely more difficult, and I kind of wish there was more women-led movies that
Yeah.
highlighted more actresses. Because when we thought back to the year, we struggled with this list.
Hmm.
But I think we came up with a really strong one.
Yeah.
And I definitely think these five definitely deserve to be here. And like I said, I love Ginny and Georgia, and it was
Hmm.
hilarious when we were coming up with this list that we both
We were
like love
struggling.
that series.
We were struggling to come with this list, but it was fun though. Like that's the part that like is like also a fun time because we get to sit here and do what we basically do all the time in debating on like what
Yep.
we, liked and didn't like, and get to see who gonna make it and who didn't. Like if I could see the damage that we did on this paper right here, like it's a lot. It's a lot that went
There's a
into
lot,
this,
bro.
bro. But let's get into the actual winner for most geek actress, which is none other than Margot Robbie for Barbie. Oh my gosh, bro. Like, when I tell y'all, I just thought it was going to be stereotypical Barbie. But no, this was a think piece, bro. This was a think piece. And I think, between her and Ken, they definitely had put on the show. Like it wasn't just a whole bunch of big names in this thing. Like she really had to dig deep to not only pull off this personality, but also at the same time, bring life to a doll. Like literally a doll,
Yeah.
bro. Like that's so crazy to me, bro. But what did you think about Barbie, bro? Because you saw it before me. You saw it before me. So
Yeah, I went to the whole Oppenheimer thing and
mhm.
and did the back to back, but definitely Margot like deserves this just because it's really weird when you see Barbie the movie stuff like that. It's kind of weird thinking what you're going in to see, but to
Yeah.
see like the actor breathe life to a doll, pretend to be this doll like figure, like what would it be like to be Barbie? And then go into the real world and figure out what it means to be a woman and all that type of stuff. Like it, you really start to think like, yo, this is crazy. Like this is what Barbie would be like. And I just think actresses like this deserve their like sunshine when they
Mhm.
deliver a performance like this, because it's just so unique and so special. And it's surprising because I saw two great films on that day, and I still thought Margot Robbie did an amazing performance. So
Yeah.
shout out to her. I definitely think she deserves this 1000%.
I couldn't have said that better myself, bro, because, you know, when you're thinking about like actresses and actors, sometimes they can only be as good as their supporting cast, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why we're going to get into our next nominations with the most geeked supporting actor. And it should be no surprise, Ken from Barbie is on this list. But let's start off with the man himself, Jason Momoa, and his portrayal
Ooh.
in Fast X. Fast X was fire. I don't care what nobody else say, bro. Like I love that series just because it just looks cool and you don't really have to think too much about what's going on. You just happen to be here, And some people are a fan of that, like me, and some people aren't, like Chris. Boom. That's a shot. And another shot comes from uh Jonathan Majors in Creed 3. Like, bro, Creed 3 was like I still think that's the best boxing series like of all time. Like the Rocky series is cool, but this is like it took it to a different level with the level of actors that they had in this movie, and then also the dedication that they took to pull this off, bro. And it just was like super unsuspecting, and I don't know. I just wasn't expecting them to go as hard as they did. Um, Next up, we got Robert Downey Jr. from Oppenheimer, and that makeup job is something serious because he don't look like the Iron Man I know.
Yeah,
And then
it's crazy.
also we got, like I said earlier, Ryan Gosling from Barbie as Ken. And last but
Again,
not least, uh, Tyler James Williams. I don't know why I struggle on that. He got three names. It's long, but this is for Abbott Elementary. And like I was saying earlier, you know, Janine and Tyler's character finally have started to have their moments. And we got to see that he has a green thumb, which is funny because I relate to that. Cutting grass all the time. But this is our list for the most geek supporting actors. Chris, you got anything to say about these youngins?
tough list because I definitely think three
Yeah.
of them caused us to run circles in
Mm-hmm.
conversation. Like I said, these lists aren't easy to make. I mean,
Yeah.
when you see all five of them, you're like, oh yeah, easy peasy. But
Mm-hmm.
geez, when we're trying to decide the winner, it gets tough. So
Yeah.
uh, definitely well deserving, but I think one is a clear winner.
Okay. And let's get straight into that. The winner for most geeked supporting actor is Ryan Gosling from Barbie, man. That was so wild of a turn, bro. You see this picture right here? It's nothing like that, bro. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. The downfall of Ken. And this is Ken is what really drew me into the movie after I started watching it.
Oh
And you
yeah.
told me like before, like, yo, you have to watch this. Like Chris convinced me to watch it because I wasn't really tripping off it. I was over at DreamCon when the Oppenheimer moment happened. So I was like, I'll get to it when I get to it, man. I should have been watched this movie, bro. Because Ken's fall from grace to his rise to power
Well,
was
his
hilarious,
rise.
bro. His rise to power was hilarious, bro. And I just was not expecting that. I don't know. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, his rise of power had me geeking, and it really made me think like when movies like this come out, like you can never judge a book by its cover because it
Yeah.
was just so interesting to see Ken's rise to power, see how he took over Barbie Land, see what when he realized what men could do, like everything it was just hilarious. Like it just drove the movie so much, and you know how I feel about characters that like drive the movie, and
Hmm.
Ken, Ken was enough. Ken was
Facts.
enough to make this movie great, and him and Margot went crazy, but to see Ryan Gosling transform Ken into
Yeah.
this level of, I don't even know if you can call him a villain, but like
Hmm.
main driving point of the story, it was amazing.
Yeah. And I'm not even like the biggest Ryan Gosling fan. It was just
Yeah, me.
like this might be my favorite thing he's in. I don't know.
Yeah,
I gotta really think about it. But yeah.
Mojo Dojo Casa House. That.
Yeah, bro. Oh my gosh, that was the jacket. Just that's all I'm gonna say. The jacket, bro. The jacket. Oh man, but let's get into the next nominations and talk a little bit about the supporting actresses. So, just like the most geeked actress, this was difficult to come up with, but I feel like it was a little bit easier than the first one because like this one it was more so to me it was more so like there's a lot of people we could put here, like leading ladies, like there's a lot of we could put here, but it was like dang, they're good actors, but that movie or that show they was in wasn't really that good, like in total. So it's like, what do we do here? What do we do here? But let's get into these nominations. And here we go. Here are the nominations. Chris, you want to get into these, man?
So for most geek supporting actresses, we got Bella Ramsey.
Yup.
We got Haley Steinfeld as Gwen Stacy. I know it's animated, but still,
Little cop out.
still,
Little cop out.
yeah, she deserves to be in there.
Yeah.
Jenna Ortega, yo, it's crazy. Like her rise, downfall. I don't know where she's at right now with on X and Twitter, but she's still up there. She's
She
still
trying to
up
get to
there.
that bread. That's what she trying to do.
She is. We got Tessa Thompson, of
Yep.
course, always great, even in Creed,
Mm-hmm.
and Teyana Paris.
Yup.
Honestly, this one was hard because supporting actress, it also depends on like what they're in,
Mm-hmm.
and like you can only throw so much on the supporting actress,
Yeah.
supporting character on what they're given. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
this one we had to really think about how well the actress did, and then like what they were given. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And some of these characters, but some of these actresses were in multiple things, so we had
They
to
were.
weigh that in as well. Like Tiana Paris was in, not only they cloned Tyrone, but she was in the Marvels. So it's just like
And it's kind of like, even though that Marvels is a little funky,
it's a little
and
high, more high profile too.
it's more high profile, but like they clone Tyrone is also really good, and
Yeah.
some people already forgot about that. So it's just
Hmm.
like it's a little bit different when it comes to supporting, because we want to just figure out overall how the actresses were doing in both of them, and like
Hmm.
it's different roles and how well they supported that storyline.
Facts. Facts.
But the winner goes to Bella Ramsey. And this was difficult
Yes. Yes.
because The Last of Us did have a lasting effect on a lot of people, and everyone was hyping it up. But, we played the game and we knew Ellie already as a character.
Hmm.
But just to see it on screen and to
Yeah.
bring that character to life was a
Hmm.
difficult task. Like, it was not easy, and there was so much speculation on if you can deliver, especially once we've seen the final product in a video game.
Right.
So it's always hard to bring it to life, and I just think they did a great job, and I can't
Hmm.
wait for more. But how do
Yeah.
you feel about that, G?
I think this was like the best answer, just because like The Last of Us like came up a lot in these negotiation, I said negotiation, but the nomination discussions. Just because like it was good, like it was really good, but
Yeah,
when like what's going to happen, and you're just kind of like, all right, how are they going to do it? It kind of
can they
takes
land
away
it?
from the novelty of it being something new. Like if this was something new to all of us, like it might have been different, and they might have got it more like XP when it came to that, or I don't know a
Yeah,
better term. But I think Bella Ramsey, she's a supporting actress, but she's just as much of a main character as
yeah.
Joel
Like, we're
was.
comparing.
Yeah, and even like with Jenny and Georgia, like they're kind of like both of their stories are combined. So a lot of those situations happen when it comes to like supporting actors and supporting actors. It's like, dang, they're in a group. I don't know. What should we do? Like, so
Exactly.
it was tough. It was tough. But I think that, Bella Ramsey did justice to shout out Ashley Johnson's portrayal of Ellie in the video
Mhm.
game to what it is now. Like it was so similar, bro. But at the same time, it's like she put her own sauce on it too. So I think that jump was fire. So we've been talking about characters. We've been talking about actors and actresses and supporting actresses and supporting actors. But one thing we haven't really talked about yet is story. The thing we really all go to the movies for. Like the actors and actors, they might draw us in. But the story is what we go to see the movie for. So let's get straight into these nominations, bro. So of course, we got Oppenheimer. Elite
Boom.
story. Exactly. Exactly. Then we got Spider-Verse. Another one. Another one. DJ Khaled voice. Then we got Succession. Another one. Another one. Then we got The Creator, bro. The Creator.
Oh,
What are we talking about? They clone Tyrone? Bruh. Like,
yeah, yeah,
some of these, like Spider-Man and Succession, we knew were going to be good because we have precedents, you know?
yeah, yeah.
Others, a little bit more historic, but they got not only elite directors, but actors and actresses in it. And then in Clone Tyrone, elite actors and came out of nowhere on
It came out
Netflix.
of nowhere.
Netflix just going crazy this year, bro. I don't know. Like, they might be streamer of the year, bro. I ain't gonna cap. That's just my opinion. But this is what we got for Most Geek Story. And the winner is The Creator. Oh my gosh. The only movie to make me cry this year, bro.
Go ahead.
So
Go
good.
ahead.
It's so good. Because, for one, it's in a dystopian type environment, and there's technology, and there's countries and politics, and there's a love story, which is what they initially sell you, right? But then here comes this little robot, and its name is Alfie. And you know what? That relationship I didn't think was going to hit that hard, because it's like, oh, I've seen this before. Last of Us was out, and it was just like, it's going to be a cool little
True.
story. No, they flipped it. They flipped it. They made me care about robots being separated. Like, it's more than just the characters, it's more than just the overall story. It's the world that really drew me to this movie, and I told literally everybody to go watch this thing. You know, Chris, I could keep going, but I don't want to take all of the sauce. So, what do you got for the creator, bro?
Yeah, when you told me it made you cry, I had to go see it. I definitely waited another weekend before I saw it, but it was definitely worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Deep down the storyline, they had so many great storylines. Even the one that grabbed me the most was just the thought about once Alfie was like sentient and talking about like going to heaven and what it
Mm-hmm.
means to go to heaven. And I guess we're both not going to heaven. Like
Yeah,
deep
yeah.
down, it really makes you think about life and what it means to be alive and what it means to just be here,
Mm-hmm.
like on this earth. And I know it's not like in reality where robots are here in Earth right now and sentient and live lives, but it makes you think about one day if that did happen, like
Yeah.
how would you feel? How would your real world thinking be?
Mm-hmm.
Like even like rights and like what's right, what's wrong. If you kill a
Yeah.
robot, is that murder? Like
Right.
it's just so crazy that a movie can make you think about this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm just like scratching the surface because you can think about a lot of plot points
Yeah.
in the creator.
Yeah.
And that doesn't even take away from the main story about what's just happening, like what's
Right.
right and what's wrong. And the creator is just something so interesting. It's gonna make you talk about it with friends, and I definitely think everyone should watch it with like a group of people.
Mm-hmm.
And then just have a quick chat because I think everyone would have different opinions when it comes to the creator.
You gonna learn a lot about a person after watching this movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like they sell you on it being like live action, like going crazy robot fights and all that stuff, but then when you get actually into it and you find out like, oh, there's a different level of trauma that is as you're experiencing in this
And
joint.
it was
And
like fresh. It wasn't like
yeah.
built off of something. It's like a brand new world, and that's always like
Hmm.
great to see in movies.
That's facts. Like I can't even. And then John David Washington he ain't missed yet. Like, if you ask
Yo, he
me,
being good stuff.
he ain't missed yet. And it's crazy to really think about that, bro. So we've talked about story. We've talked about characters. Talked about a little bit of directors. But it's time to see what these characters can do. Now it's time to talk about the most geeked fights. Now, this is one of my favorite sections because this is a thing you can always talk about. You know, you can always talk about if somebody know how to box. You can always talk about if somebody got knocked out. You can always talk about lightsabers. Let's start right here, bruh. Ahsoka. Ahsoka was tricky. It was tricky. It had like 3 like amazing episodes and a little bit of mid, but it was good. It was still good and one of my favorite moments in Star Wars for my life. Like it's easy, right? Then got a couple animes, animation. I mean, they're both on Netflix, so it gets tricky there, right? But Baki is one of my favorite anime ever, top 5 for sure. And we got part 2 of season 2 dropping, and it was freaking amazing, along with the first part that I think dropped the same time as Oppenheimer, which is why I don't think I was really tripping about either of those movies. Um, and next, Blue Eye Samurai, something a little bit more new, but looks really cool because they use 3D animation along with 2D like art styles and stuff like that, and it's just like, samurai, bro. Like, what are we talking about? Swords, like it's elite, bro. And then of course the boxing movie of the decade. I don't want to say century because I don't know. I don't know movies that came out 100 years ago. But last but not least, we got that man. Who is it? The Baba Yaga. John Wick for one of my favorite movies of the year because it was just like interesting. Like, how do you recreate John Wick 4 times, bro, and it still be good? You know what I'm
Still good.
saying? Like, it's so crazy, bro. Chris, you got anything you want to say about these, bro, before we get into it?
Man, when it comes to fights, all of them are just so good. Like all of them are just so good.
Yeah.
And they're all individually in their own universe. It's just top tier where you just sit there and say, yo, that was good. I,
Hmm.
I need to share this with people. So um great, great, great nominations. And I'm not gonna lie, if anyone said that this was the best fight of the year, I would probably agree.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Well, let's get into the winner. John Wick. This one was like kind of easy, but it was difficult because Creed was like innovative in the way that they decided to shoot it with like different inspirations from anime and like just the level of technology, bro, that went into um the movie was like crazy crisp, bro. And the slow mos was going crazy, but John Wick was like it was like art, bro. Like how long he was fighting and then the different characters that got introduced and bodied at the same time. And it was a long movie, but it was like well deserved to be this long. Pause on that.
Yeah, I always felt like when I watched John Wick 4, I was like, yo, these fight scenes are so long, but
Yeah.
this these fight scenes are just next level. This is unreal how they can keep on pushing the boundaries of how deadly this dude could get. Like,
With no cuts.
yeah, no cuts, and it's long fights,
Yeah.
stretches of this dude going crazy, not getting tired,
Mhm.
bodying everybody, and it just doesn't matter what weapon, what gun. That stair scene was as long as ever, and he was still bodying it up and down, up and down. Like
Yeah.
it's just
Crazy.
incredible what they do, and that top down scene. I mean, we talked
Hmm.
about this. Is just so video game esque,
I
but
ain't never seen
still,
nothing like that before, bro. It was
yeah. To
crazy.
see it on the big screen was just crazy.
Hitting it with that fire. That joint was crazy, bro. And then also like what you were saying with the stair, I think the only mistake this movie ever made was putting a times table on things as far as like how much time they had left. Like all we needed to know was that it was going to be sunrise when he needed to get there, and
Yo, they said he
that was
has
it.
5 minutes to get up them stairs. That
I was
fight
like,
scene
that
took
was cap,
15.
bro. That was cap. It was so
Uh,
wild to watch. But maybe if there's ever like a time code video of that, or like we can do that on our own. But that joint was crazy. That joint was crazy. And like the lighting too was so different in each location that made like not only just the rogues and the enemies look cool, but also John Wick, like he was going crazy, bro. So it's like it was an easy win. It was an easy win for most geek fights. Now that the knockout round is over with the fights, it's time to get into these cameras, the thing that captures everything. And Chris, you have a great eye for movies. So let's get into the most geek cinematography.
when it comes to cinematography, it's hard not to talk about Creed 3.
Facts.
Man, the cameras, camera angles they used in this one was great. Well deserving for not only like a boxing movie, but
Mhm.
just a movie overall. We got John Wick 4. We just talked about that top down view, but the fight scenes, the angles, already we're these are like A tier level cinematography movies. Quarterback. I swear I tell everyone all the time, this is so much better than Hard Knocks. The NFL is king, and to see this level of the best position, the hardest position to play, the quarterback. Mwah, I hope they have more in the series. I know them QBs are talking about I don't want to do more. I need more. I
Yeah.
need more from this angle. The creator. I swear they said this budget was small as ever. I cannot tell.
Yeah.
I cannot tell in The Last of Us. The Last of Us. I feel like everyone's forgotten about how great the cinematography in The Last of Us was. Like
Hmm.
it was so early, but it started off the year right. And I just feel like as the year went on, everyone just said, "Ah, it was good. It was good."
Yeah.
No, this thing was great. So the winner, Reed 3. Oh my gosh. I'm not gonna lie. I think the main thing that came down to this winner had to be the final fight.
Yeah. For sure. For sure.
And I think you did mention that it did blend some little aspects of like anime style into that fight, and it was
Mhm.
really cool seeing the boxers like have that one-on-one moment in the ring,
Yeah.
uh, feeling caged, feeling like it's just me versus you, and they always talk about that when it comes to boxing,
Hmm.
and to feel that in the theater, to see that in the theater was epic.
Facts. Yeah. I
Well,
think to me, it was like the level of detail for a lot of these, movies and shows because like when you think about cinematography, like I think of not only just like, you know, big wide open scenes and spaces, but also the little things,
walking out
and
in Dodger Stadium.
facts, freaking slow mo. Zack Snyder, who like this slow mo in this movie was insane, bruh. And I really think that, what also separates this is that this is a boxing movie. Like how many different ways can you make this look interesting? And like in the traditional sense, you have your like over the shoulder shot, you got your knockout shots, you got your like overhead, like so the way that they were able to, you know, wave the camera in and out and just the different levels of like with the blackout scene and
The
just having
blackout
the inner
of
monologue
Dodger
happening.
Stadium. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, it's just so crazy because that place is just so iconic, and just imagine that
Hmm.
as like the championship bout.
Yeah. It was
Oh,
crazy, bro. It was crazy, and youngins don't really talk about it. They don't talk like
I know.
about it.
I feel like that them early stuff that people don't
Yeah.
talk about, bro.
That's why we do these shows because it's like if we didn't do this, it's the recency bias that will really like take things to not only the next level, but just in general it just makes things like lose their luster. So it's just that's why it's important to show up to the Geeked Awards, bro, because you never know. what you might see. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So it's time. It's time for us to talk visual effects.
For visual effects, I ain't gonna lie. There's a lot of different style of visual effects you can do. So
Yeah.
this list may seem wacky,
Yeah.
but we're gonna start it off with Aquaman 2,
Yup. The Lost Kingdom.
The Lost Kingdom. It's
Yup.
gonna be slept on because I feel like some people have still not seen this movie right now. Blue-Eyed Samurai, we already done been through that.
Yup.
A brand new comer on the list,
Had to dig deep in the
Demon
bag.
Slayer.
We had to dig deep in the bag for this one.
Deep in it, deep in it, but well deserving because that beginning. I mean, when we talk about animation, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, Demon Slayer just does it different.
Yeah.
Spider-Man Across the Spideyverse. I mean, animation, you can't not talk about that when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
animation. And then Super Mario Bros. Woo, that thing be popping. So
Illumination.
yeah, and like that's just another movie that I feel like everyone saw and then they'd be sleeping on. But
Yeah.
all of these definitely have a different style. We did have to think about individually when it comes to visual effects, what movies really brought to life what we thought were the best this year.
Mm-hmm.
So the winner for most geeked visual effects goes to It's a Me, Mario. Because I swear, Super Mario Bros. Is definitely one of the best looking animated visual effects movies I've ever seen. And when
Yeah.
that dude hit that star, oh my
Dun, dun,
gosh, if
dun, dun,
I
dun,
was a
dun, dun, dun.
kid, I would have been going crazy, bro. Like
Yeah.
from start beginning to end, like it just looks so good.
Yeah. All the different worlds too. And like just seeing all these different characters be
Rainbow
animated.
Road.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is exactly what I imagined doing a
Mm-hmm.
Mario movie service. Like,
Yeah.
this is how it should look like. They need to do more.
Mm-hmm.
I love the animation. They did such a great job.
Yeah. And it's a lot of the things that we don't get to see in the games that we got to see here, and how it would just look like if it was just a normal day in the Mushroom Kingdom, or if you're in, Bowser's Castle, or the Badlands, or Donkey Kong's land or whatever. And
On country, and even
yeah,
that whole visual effects when Mario is it's kind of like you're in the Mario game when he's doing all
yeah,
those Mario stuff and
yeah,
left and right, jumping up and down, hitting the question marks, and all of that was just so seamless, and
hmm,
it's just exactly how you imagine the video game come to life,
yeah.
and it's just so good looking. It's crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But you know what else is crazy, bruh? We're on to the last category, the last award of the Geeked Awards, man. And I know we haven't said nothing yet, but if you haven't already, man, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because a lot goes into these lists, and a lot goes in to the podcast. Every week we're coming at you guys with something new, and it's just been a good year, bro. Like, we've learned a lot, and I feel like we've gotten a lot better. We got more and more, you know
Times two.
followers and subscribers, and it's just like, bro, it's lit. And I appreciate y'all. I know Chris appreciates y'all too. But without further ado, we got to get into the best animated film. We had to dig deep in the bag again, and not with just a couple animes, but we also had to get into some Pixar. So let's get right into it, man.
Oh,
Demon Slayer again.
it's
Ask
there.
me. If you
It's
ask
there.
me, if you ask me, it's a disservice the way they be doing these anime movies. And it's only really Demon Slayer that does this. So It
That's
looked
true.
good though. It looked
That's true.
good. Like I can't fake. Like it looked good, but I had to take a stance on this one. If you know my score, you know my score, but we won't get too deep into it. But we also got Elemental, Pixar's newest project, which was alright. Like it wasn't bad, but it was like mid at sometimes. Like it I like the world, but I feel like the overall story got like kind of like taken away as far as like um what was happening between the love story that was happening at the same time. Like it just
But some fire and water.
they didn't
Fire
mix,
and
which is
water.
funny, which is funny to say that. And then next, obviously, these other two have been all over the Geeked Awards this year:
Yeah,
Spider
come on.
Verse
Come on
2
now.
and Super Mario Bros. But Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem,
Is that new?
snuck up in here, bro. It snuck up in here
Oh,
because it's an original take on the Ninja Turtles, and it's very different animation wise, which I think is really cool because when you look at the different characters that's in it, the turtles are the most recognizable to the original forms, but the humans actually look like the mutants, which is a funny like way of looking at life, because like you're looking through a turtle's eyes, kind of. I don't know, but I love that movie, and Ninja Turtles is one of my favorite nostalgic things out there. But let's get it, man. Let's. If you at home right now, I want a drum roll. The winner for most geeked animated film is
Super
Super
Mario
Mario
Bros.
Bros. That's right. That's right.
Oh man.
It's here, bro. The most geeked animated film of the year, and a lot went into this decision, right? Because when you think about it and what is actually in the nominations, it gets a little tricky because obviously Spider Verse is our most geeked picture of the year, our favorite thing we saw, but we think that Super Mario Bros. Was a more impressive animated film. Not only because of the way it looked, but because of what it did for not only just, a legacy type of
Franchise.
like franchise, yeah, but what it did for the people that actually went out to go see the movie. Like, not only did you have, the little kids that super geeked to watch this, but you also have the adults that grew up playing Mario. Like Mario has a rich history in Americana today and all over the world. So it's crazy that, that this happened, but what's the Geek Awards without a little bit of spice? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Chris,
Yeah.
what you got for this thing, man?
Yeah, I know everyone that stayed for this is gonna be a little confused, but at the end of the day, most geeked animated film this year is Super Mario Bros. When you
Yeah.
think about what this thing brought, there have been horrible Super Mario Bros. Movies. And the idea to bring Super Mario to an animated film is not one that no one's ever thought about. The
Yeah.
problem is, can it be good? Can it
Hmm.
look good? Can it really feel like Super Mario Bros? And this one definitely done it.
Yeah.
And as much as I love Spideyverse, me and we went back and forth, and I've always said, hey, this is the second time we've seen this style of
Yeah.
Spideyverse before.
Hmm.
And, if this is Spideyverse's first time, we definitely feel like, yo, this is the most geeked animated film I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But I done seen that. And
Yeah.
while Spideyverse 2 animated does look good, they even do new effects, it looks just as great. I've got to give it to Super Mario Bros. Because
Yeah.
you did it. You landed Super Mario, and I really believe you got future movies coming out after this.
Yeah. And it's like the level of the cast really had people worried in the beginning because it's like you look at the names, Chris Pratt as Mario.
Yep.
Who expected that? Like
And that
nobody.
has to go good with the animation,
Exactly.
believable.
Exactly. I mean, obviously Jack Black as Bowser was like had everybody hyped. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
But
it's
still, it's
just
a little
like
weird because you're thinking Jack Black,
Kung Fu Panda.
Bowser. All
Yeah.
right,
Yeah, like you never thought, like, he's the happy-go-lucky guy, and his interpretation of Bowers is hilarious.
It's
So
hilarious.
it's a lot that went into this movie, and I really really loved it so much, and I will watch it for years and
Like I
years to
said,
come.
I think we both agree that Spider-Verse is a better film story-wise and
Yeah,
animated, everything all put together.
yeah,
But when I'm looking at the film, when I'm
yeah.
thinking what it's doing, I definitely think
It
Super
deserves it,
Mario Bros. Deserves it.
and I just feel like there's only one way to end things off, bro. Jack Black, hit it. Peaches, 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 peaches. Like, nah, I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it.
Oh
I ain't
no,
gonna
he
do
going
it.
crazy. He going crazy over there. Okay.
But look, man, look. We appreciate y'all for tuning in to another Geeked Awards, bro. This has been a year. It's been a year, bro. It's been a year. And
Two man, two.
it's crazy. It's crazy to think about it. More to come, more to come. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And, this drops top of the year, first week of January. So after that, hopefully, we got some stuff dropping. That's good, like to watch and stuff like that. But, the year's on and popping. But I love the way that we were able to end things here. Chris, you got any final takeaways before we head up out of here, bro?
No, just super blessed to be here for a second time in a row. And
Yeah.
the Geeked Awards is always something special. I really hope everyone enjoyed it. I really hope everyone disagrees or agrees with our nominations and winners, because
Yep.
that's the whole point of this stuff. And as long as you love some of these movies and remember how great some of these movies and series were, I feel like we did our job right. So thank y'all so much for showing up to this Geeked Awards.
Yep. And without further ado, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on your favorite audio platforms. Leave a comment, give us a 5-star rating. And we holler at y'all next week, man. Stay geeked. Peace.
Later, y'all.